I'm James Corin, and today we're going to be installing the Intrafuse G2 trigger group for the AK. Let's take a look at the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, pliers, a small punch, and a rubber band or tape. As always, before beginning any firearms project, make sure that your rifle is unloaded and ensure that there is no ammunition in the chamber. First, we are going to remove the old trigger group. Remove the receiver cover, recoil spring, and bolt carrier from the rifle. Release the hammer, pivot the selector lever, and remove. Using pliers, pull the hammer spring legs up and rest them in front of the hammer. Use extreme caution while moving the springs. They are under great pressure and can cause physical harm. Use a rubber band or tape to help secure the springs. Using a flathead screwdriver, put downward pressure on the shepherd's hook. Using a small punch, remove the hammer retaining pin. Rotate the hammer 90 degrees and remove. Using a flathead screwdriver, push against the shepherd's hook until it releases from the pin. Secure your hand around the disconnector to prevent the disconnector spring from popping out. Using a small punch, remove the trigger pin. Now remove the trigger. Now we're going to assemble the Tapco trigger group. We'll need to use the original disconnector spring and hammer spring. Using caution, untie the legs of the hammer springs from the front of the hammer. Using pliers, slowly remove the spring from the hammer. Now wrap the spring over the new Tapco hammer. Using pliers, pull the hammer springs up and rest them in front of the hammer. Retie the springs. Making sure it is positioned properly, place the hammer back into the rifle. Insert the hammer pin. Place the original disconnector spring into the Tapco disconnector. Insert the disconnector into the Tapco trigger and align the holes. Insert the no fumble trigger sleeve into the trigger. This tube sleeve will prevent the disconnector spring from popping out. Making sure it is positioned properly, place the trigger into the rifle. Insert the trigger pin. Using pliers, carefully untie the legs of the hammer springs and slowly lower them into place in the rifle. Ensure that the legs of the hammer spring are properly gripping the rear trigger extensions, as shown here. Reinstalling the shepherd's hook is a very difficult task. We highly recommend using a Tapco retaining plate. This plate will make the installation and any future work much easier. If you are reusing your shepherd's hook to secure the hammer and trigger pins, go ahead and reinstall it now, keeping in mind that you will have to push it down and forward using a lot of force to get it back into place. Insert the front of the retaining plate onto the notch of the hammer pin. Rotate down to rest on the notch of the trigger pin. Align the selector lever and push it back into the rifle. Push the hammer down. Reinstall the bolt carrier, recoil spring, and dust cover. Make sure the rifle has no ammunition in the chamber and dry fire the weapon several times to ensure functionality. For more information, visit tapco.com. I'm James Corin. Thanks for watching.